I had just moved into my own apartment for the first time. I was going to college and had a job, and had rented a small one-bedroom apartment near my job in the campus I was attending. On one of the first few nights I spent there, from outside my door came a loud knocking. Someone was knocking at the door, but not my door. They were knocking on the one across the hall. I didn't think much of it, of course, but the knocking continued for a while and it began to annoy me. It was loud, frantic, irregular in its rhythm, and each knock pissed me off a little more. Eventually I decided to go look out my peephole and see what the commotion was all about. When I looked out the peephole, there was a woman standing right outside my door, staring into the peephole right at me. I was shocked and backed away from the door. I checked that the door was locked, then looked back out the peephole. No one was there. The hall was empty and the knocking had stopped. I stared out into the hall for a while, confused as to what was happening, when suddenly the door across the hall opened and an older man stepped out. The man looked down the hall in both directions. He was obviously frightened and confused. He went over to my door and knocked quietly, hesitantly. I opened the door and asked what was going on. The man admitted he was just as confused as I was. He had been coming home to his apartment a few minutes before, but as he was walking down the hall, he saw a woman at the other end staring at him. He said her face looked like pure evil. He was scared of her, so he quickly opened his door and went inside, then locked it. He watched out his peephole as the woman came slowly down the hall to stand in front of my door. The look on the woman's face scared the older man so much that he began frantically knocking on his door, hoping to alert whoever lived across the way of the danger outside. The woman just stood there for the longest time as the older man kept pounding on his door and warning. After a while, she turned and ran off without making a sound. Anyway, that's my story, believe it or not.